Alright guys, my name is Austin Bachelor, and in the tutorial I'm showing you today, I'm going to show you how to take a grayscale and turn it to color using Procreate. Now, normally the reason you would do this is so that you can really focus on getting your values right without having to worry about color until you're ready for it. For this example, didn't do that. This is a drawing I already did, and then I turned it grayscale just so I could show you for this example. And so normally I probably wouldn't have like patterns on it yet, like these spots that he has, but because I didn't have a lot of time to make a completely new grayscale drawing just for this, I'm gonna show you how to do it using this image that's already been turned to grayscale. Okay, so starting out with your black and white image, you should have all of that. You don't have to have it all in one layer, but you just want to make sure you create a layer that's going to be on top of all of that, and you want to set that layer to multiply. Okay, now something that makes it really useful is if you can select the layer, all the black and white layer underneath, or if you have a shape of everything that all of your values are contained within that you can select, do that. That way you won't be painting outside of the lines. Okay, so now that you are on your multiply layer, you're going to go ahead and select whatever color it is you want to start painting with. And this is going to be kind of like your flat color, all right? If you're imagining what this would look like without any light or shadows on it, this is the color you want to get. So once I have that selected, I make sure I have the brush I want, and then you just start painting it right on there, okay? I usually go in and just do the whole entire thing at first with the rough colors I want, and then go in and clean it up with tighter colors, like on the saddle and the reins and stuff like that. And the reason I do this is so that I can get a good idea of what color I want before I start going really detailed. Sometimes I like to mess around with it until I find something I like more. So I'm starting out by going all the way red, and you can see that it is just filling this in with color while still keeping all of the same values underneath. Okay, so let's finish doing this really quick. All right. Next, let's do. I want him to have a little bit warmer. Let's go with like a green on the bottom, and I'll start painting this in there. Now, what you want to keep in mind, a couple things, is that in the places where there's shadows, if it feels like your color, like say you selected a color, but then when you paint it, it feels way too dark, it doesn't feel like the color you wanted, what you can do then is either lower the opacity of your drawing layer, your grayscale layer, so it's not as bright, or just go to the hue and saturation slider, and I'll show you how I do that here in a minute after I fill in this green. Okay. So let's say I'm feeling like it's just too bright. I can select my grayscale layer, go over to hue, saturation, and brightness, and brighten the whole thing up a little bit if I'm feeling like that. I think it looks fine on this one, so I'm just going to leave it, but sometimes it is too dark, and you can change that. Now, what you don't want to do is go in here and start painting the highlights, right? You're going to want to paint that on a separate layer that is on top of your drawing. That way it's covering up, anything underneath. If you're painting these highlights underneath, you're going to be able to see all of the values you created below it, and it's not going to feel like a highlight, it's just going to feel like you changed the color of the surface. And that's not what we want. We want it to feel like a highlight. So instead, what you should do is on top of your paint layer and your drawing layer, make a new layer, and you can paint on top of that. And this one should be set to multiply, not multiply, sorry. It should be set to normal, not multiply. Don't set it to multiply, okay? And then you can do your highlights on there, and you can blend it out however you want, right? Something else that I tend to do, I'll just show you my highlight layer that I did on here. I actually set mine to screen, which you can do screen or normal. You want to make sure it's on top of your color layer and not on the same layer as your color. Another thing you can do is create a new layer. I like to set mine to overlay, and then really try to pump up some of the colors so there's more color variation. So maybe I want his back to feel even more of a certain color. I can go to overlay and paint over it, and it's just going to amplify that color by whatever color I picked. So I picked like this hot pink color to really push it further. And then maybe for his stomach, I want it to feel a little bit more yellow. So then I could do that down there, and I'll do the same thing. And if this is too intense, you can always just lower the opacity till it's at a point or a level you like. So I'm going to do that right now till it's somewhere that I think looks good. So I'll show you an example of, I already did this. So I have my screen layer and my color layer right here. And then this is my overlay layer that I did on top to really push the reds. Alright, so that's my tutorial on how to add color to a grayscale. If you guys like this video and you want to see more like it, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, let me know what types of tutorials you want to see, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great night.